ngihlele ngandodwa ke namhlanje ndihleli nesigqeba esibuya phaya ke kuye SABC 1 that is uJacqueline Maphala ubuya phaya ke kuyo ke expression ku SABC 1 and then she will make an intro and tell you phaya emakhaya ukuthi who is she? What is she doing here? What she wants here from De Aar?
I represent an amazing current affairs show by Visa Expressions. We're actually number one at SABC in terms of audience and viewership. So there's definitely a lot of confidence that our audience has showed us. But the reason why we're here is because we are part of SABC's strategy towards heightening and putting center stage young people in this country. We are part of a team of people who are putting a spotlight on elections, but I think most importantly saying we want abasha, young people, to be incorporated in what's currently happening, in the discussions that are being had. And obviously, like we're saying, as a youth platform, is to say we want to give young people a voice and for the voices to be heard. We're going to be having a debate, we're going to be having a conversation that we want to include the community into, and we're going to be airing it as well on our show. We're encouraging everybody to come in their numbers tomorrow. We want you to be seen, we want you to be heard, because we feel your voices are important in the conversations that are being had. So the reason why we're here is to say in simple terms that we are genuinely the true voice, the chosen voice for young people in areas of politics, in area of community issues. I mean, like I'm saying, more than anything else, we want young people to see us as their trusted voice more than anything else. We want to say, we want to bring all the stuff to the light, and we want the country to see the young people here at De Aar, and obviously representing Northern Cape as well.
Abazanga nje because befuna ukuza kodwa baze ngoba benithanda bebonile into kokuba anina anisosizwe sokulahlwa ninsizizwe sokubekwa phakathi nendawo into kokuba nithethe izinto eniva ngazo ukuthi elenihluthwa intoni kwaye intoni edla umzi wase De Aar. So now izithandwa zami nina phaya ekhaya ke Jacqueline with the team of SABC 1, they in the house.
Hello South Africa, you are watching Expressions, your youth current affairs show here on SABC 1. Welcome to our special broadcast. Now if you're wondering, where in South Africa are we? Wonder no further, because we are in the Northern Cape in a town called De Aar. Now we're on the ground to find out what are the challenges that young people are facing in this particular area. I am your host, Jacqueline Maphala.
I'm your host, Now the stage is set and the battle lines have been drawn. With just a few days leading up to the elections, we want to know, Jackie, do political parties really have what it takes to address the social ills that face our communities? Siseti Aar namhlanje sinibingelele sinamukele.
Yes, Mko. And I think that's a very important question, because we know that the ANC has been in this particular place and governing this particular area since 1994. Now, young people are still plagued with social ills, whether we're talking about crime, we're talking about violence, we're talking about teenage pregnancy, alcohol abuse. I mean, the list goes on. And as we lead up to the elections, the question we're asking, which is the political party that is best positioned to address some of the issues that young people are facing in this particular area?
And knowing ukuthi abantu abasha are going to be some of the ones who are going to be taking to the ballot come May the 8th, Jackie, it's very important for us to also touch base with them. That is why we decided to give you a microscopic view of some of the things that are happening on the ground. Take a look at this. Istop set sanamhlanje takes us to De Aar lapho khona sise-Malay Camp. Njoba uzibonela, just behind me are some of the living conditions that the people of Malay Camp have to face on a day-to-day basis. We've heard some of them talk about how this is a crime-stricken area, how they've complained about poverty, lack of employment, as well as drugs and alcohol. Bugelewe Expressions, we are going to be having a conversation with them, as well as hold those in power to account. Do follow me on this journey. This is a 20-year-old young lady.
Yes.
Who clearly looks like she hasn't even had a meal in a while.
Okay.
So what do we do? What must happen, Councillor? Because right now you are here, you want these people's votes.
Okay.
But what we are busy now,
This is really disappointing.
wat ons nou mee besig is dat ons is besig om hierdie dakke te fix. Die young men kan net sê ons is besig nou, my project is nou besig, ek het stilgestaan met my water project en besig, ek is nou besig om hierdie huise se dakke te fix.
How long is it going to take? We're going to come back and ask for a report back, and we would like to know when you'd actually done and repaired a roof
You
for.
can come back in 3 weeks time.
In 3 weeks' time, this roof will be done.
Yes.
Ek het heel nodig net vir 'n nuwe huis. En ek het heel ook nodig vir werk, van ek is werkeloos. Ek het nie werk nie. Laat ek aan my ma ook wys wie ek en wat ek kan tek is vir haar. Maar terwyl ek hy werk het, kan ek dit nie vir haar doen nie.
So ngicela ngako konke bangakuphuhliswa indaba omsebenzi so that basinokhona sinokhalela izindlu egqibeleni ufumana kwezi zindlu amanzi umbane sithenga ngantoni singasebenzi basinofumana umsebenzi iqala izindlu zilandela after singavuya cause sinengane sifuna uqeda isikolo ingane zethu zikwazi uqeda isikolo egqibeleni ifana nami na 34 years old I become old apha kule lokishi and abazali bami babhubhe bangasebenzi nix permanent akho umuntu umzali womuntu oyokawasebenzela mhlambi umasipali and umasipali xa sifika kumasipali apha ANC iqasha abantu ba over 40 years, 46 years, 47 years, baqasha kamasipala for permanent. Ujika ukujonga xa baqasha una 46 years old, uzosebenza for 10 years. After 10 years, you are pensioned. At least baqasha umfana ona 27 or 34, at least akwazi usebenza for 30 years. So bona bana investment abantwini ndibonayo.
Well, those are some of the comments that are coming from young people here in DR. And of course, I am not going to have this discussion by myself. I am joined by a panelist full of political parties. I'm going to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. But as you know, I never do this by myself. My co-host Mkolisi is literally sitting in this town hall and obviously going to be bringing some of the insights from community members who are part of this particular area that we're in. Gentlemen, welcome to Expressions. How can I just... Hello, welcome. How? This is the Youth Current Affairs show, so we need a little bit of Buma. So, gentlemen, it's good to have you here, but I think most importantly, it's even better to have you in front of your constituency. We're leading up to the May 8th election, and I think it's very important for us to have an interface, a direct conversation with people that you say you want their votes from. So let me give you an opportunity now, just to introduce yourself. I'm going to give you a minute, literally a minute, just to give me an opening statement about what you represent, but most importantly, what you're going to do for this particular community here in DR. Let me start here.
Thank you, Jackie. My name is Rodney. The surname is Peter Shah. I'm representing the African National Congress. And I think in this afternoon, we need to thank the SABC for having created this platform, bringing us all together here today. And we also want to say welcome to all the voters who are here. I think as the African National Congress, we are the only political party since 1994 with a very clear track record on how to deal with any social challenges that we might have in the community. Challenges
Please continue.
We need to acknowledge the serious devastation caused by alcohol and drug abuse in our communities. But as the ANC, we are having a track record on how to deal with it. But what is important in this afternoon, we should not just in isolation look at this topic. We must also ask, what is the historical context to where we are today? If we go back in the history of South Africa, you would clearly see that there was a deliberate design to ensure that the human rights of black people and Africans in particular, their dignity was deliberately sidelined by the apartheid government. So we are here today. We are here today exactly because what happened to our parents, to our grandparents in the past. If that did not happen, we were not supposed to be here today. But what we have done as the ANC, we have mobilized since 1994 all progressive social forces in the society to assist us with the issue of social transformation.
Okay, so I'm going to have to cut you
Thank
here.
you.
Can I just let the DA, please, can you introduce yourself and your opening statement, please?
Goedemiddag. Good afternoon, everybody. If there's a problem, as we are going to discuss today, there must certainly be a reason for. And the reason for we will get on to later, and I'll try and explain to you what the DA intend to do. We must appreciate and accept that we are in difficult times, but being in difficult times, the only time when you can really show your true color, the blue color, is during an election. I know this time, just before elections, a lot of people, activists, go around with promises, parties, political parties with promises, and we as the DA also making promises. And 10 years ago we made promises in the Western Cape, and I don't have to tell you, you know what's happening in the Western Cape. It is the leading province of the Western Cape. 82% of all local authorities in the Western Cape got clean audits. What is clean audit? Clean audit is not only looking at financial statements.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut you. Your 1 minute is done. I think you can continue. I'm saying your 1 minute. Please, can you pass the mic over?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I am Wynand Boshoff, Premier Candidate of the Freedom Front Plus in the Northern Cape. I think one of the biggest problems that the country may have when its youth falls into despondency. Because a despondent person doesn't always, even if he has the skills or the tools to get out of it, really don't get about to do so. And one of the biggest problems is an approach which holds that development and going forward in life is something that you can give to somebody. It's not something that you can give to somebody. It's a fire that has to be lit within every person. And all the government can do is to help lighting the fire. For that reason, job opportunities and a growing economy is what we need, not grants which are just enough not to die on. And then it doesn't help to promise bigger grants, because bigger grants with a little bit more money just increases the culture of dependence, and it's not going to lift anybody out of the problems that we have today.
The good party, please continue.
Hello everybody. My name is Orban Yafta. I'm a member of the Good Party, and I'm in good standing with the Good Party. Good is not an acronym. In short, it means bad versus good. This party is just 4 months old and was formed by Patrice de Lille, and we both left the bad for the good. Now is a good time to fix South Africa. Good plan to create a future where towns and cities are empowered to take the lead in creating positive and real change for everyone. To bring power as close to people as possible. To fix our old government structures that are not working. To fix the massive inequalities of land ownership. To fix the housing injustice, lack of public service delivery, and failing transport system that is leaving our people stranded and broke. To fix our education system, digital exclusion, and the protection of privileges that is impacting the development of our future leaders. We stand up for a country that has zero tolerance for racism, gender discrimination, corruption, and poverty. Good is not afraid to tackle these issues honestly and head-on. The Good Party is led by good people, fighting to create a good life for every good South African. We stand for the good of our people, the good of our country, the good of our planet.
Okay, thank you, Oben.
And we believe that serving you,
Oben, thank you.
the people of South Africa,
the Good Party.
is our privilege and honor.
Can we give the ATM?
Thank you very much.
We're going to give everybody on the panel an opportunity to elaborate a little bit further. But let me give the ATM
Good
an
afternoon,
opportunity.
people of DR. Good afternoon, people of DR. The name is Timothy. The surname is Sam. I'm representing the new kids in the block, which is the African Transformation Movement, ATM. We are a faith-based organization that subscribe to values of peace, Ubuntu, transformation, servant leadership, as well as accountability. Our political ideology is humanism in general, and African humanism in Africa in particular. We believe there is one God and one race, which is the human race. We here, people of DR, we're here to discuss. We're here, let us have a discussion, because we believe our political principle is to transform South Africa into a peaceful, ethically, economically viable state. This discussion comes in 2019, 25 years within democracy. The first democratic election we had in 1994, which ended colonial rule and apartheid. Here we are. There are many promises made, and there are still many promises that are still made. And we are at that place today. We know that South Africa has become a modern colony of the West. And therefore, we here as the ATM to say that let's decolonize our economy and have a discussion. Let's have then that discussion, people of DR. Let's hear how do we emancipate our youth. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was Timothy from the ATM. We've also heard from the DA. We've heard from the Freedom Front. We've heard from the ANC and the Good Party. And if you're wondering what's happened to the EFF, we did give them an opportunity to be part of this panel, and they unfortunately were not able to come through and speak to this particular community. So like I said, we've heard the opening statements from some of the political parties, and Mkolisi is going to be coming after the break, and we're going to be hearing from some of the community members, but most specifically the youth of DR. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
Spinde sinibingelele sinamukele. You still with the Expressions, your hashtag #1 youth current affairs show. Namhlanje siza kuwe from DR. Sikhulumisana nomphakathi ke siyabuza ke, do political parties have the willpower to address all the social ills that face the community members? Mundomusha, we're not live this evening, kodwa ke siyawamukela ama comments akho on our social media pages, and this is what some of you had to say. Utabo Raymond said, I won't vote because political parties don't have the prosperity of the pupils and the federal and their own deep state, which is the cause of corruption. And the next one is from Vincent, says, all these parties are the same. Why wait for voting time to tell us that they can change our country? And then Pro King says, they are all saying the same thing. What about job creation? What about free education? And we need all of these issues addressed. Mundomusha, these are some of your comments, and I'm of course now going to be taking to the floor just to get some comments from community members. I'm going to start with you, ma'am. What would your statement be? What would you like to say?
My question to you is, when you take over, now on the 8th May, when you take over, as the governing party in the Northern Cape, how are you going to deal with alcoholism and drug abuse, which our children are knee-deep in it? And we've got police who are supposed to be curbing this, but that thing does not happen.
As we continue with this conversation, I'm going to plead with everybody to please make their points sweet and short so we can get through to as many comments as we can.
Mr. Rodney, in my opinion, is a problem van drug abuse, especially amongst the youth people. En ek dink dis 'n groot probleem. Dit begin die werkloosheid begin na so dis een van ons groot take wat ons moet eers was. So as 'n opsie asseblief Mr. Rodney.
If you people that is also in the leadership, that is standing or sitting here in front of us, why don't you make this thing short or make for us this thing easier? Why don't you unite all as these parties that is here and bring forth the service delivery to us all, because your crisis here is service delivery. Thank you.
Voorsitter van Gatvol, 'n ma van 7 kinders, waarvan die oudste 40 is, nooit werk gehad in De Aar. Die jongste is 25, nooit werk gehad in De Aar. 'n boerling van De Aar, nooit werk gehad in De Aar. Ek werk huidiglik by die projek. My kinders, weet jy, ek moes by Gatvol inskakel. Ek moes die voorsitter word daar, want drug abuse begin in die huis. Die kinders begin met die ouers beklei. Waar is die huise vir die jong kinders? Want is oorvol huise met 5 gesinne in een huis, 4 jong gesinne met 'n ma en 'n pa. Waarheen gaan die kinders? Ek verwag antwoorde van die huidige regerende party. Goed is goed, hy het planne, want hy soek 70% jong kinders en 30% ou mense.
Okay. All right.
Ek weet, dit is nou, ek hoor die mense praat van die afgelope 25 jaar wat hulle regeer en weer gaan regeer. Van die tyd af tot nou het niks gebeur nie. Wat sal verander as hulle nou wen? Ek sien die mense is besig om ons in die grond om Suid-Afrika, om Noord-Kaap in die grond in te regeer en ons jong mense daarmee saam.
Alright.
Wat is die oplossing vir dit?
Okay, well, the question there basically is, where are the fruits of our 25 years of democracy?
My question to the DA is, aangezien die DA se manifesto solely focus op die ANC, wat het hulle in plek to ensure to address drug abuse and substance abuse?
All right, okay. All right, I'm going to take this opportunity now to hand back to the panel. But first, we go to Usenzo, well-beloved Siboza, who says, South Africa really needs free, decolonized education, job opportunities. I think our vote needs to go to a party which will understand the liberation since 1999. So service delivery, Jackie, unemployment, as well as drugs and alcohol abuse. Let's give the panel an opportunity to respond.
Rodney, you saw some of the questions that were directed to you. Please answer some of them, please.
What we are doing as the ANC, we need to mobilize all stakeholders in that area, starting with the ward councillor, which is an ANC councillor, the ward committee there. We need to bring in Department of Social Development. We need to identify an NGO in that area so that we can respond to the challenges that we are having. But one thing that we have been training all our councillors on, irrespective from which political party they are, is that it is important for all ward councillors to have a ward profile. The ward profile of a ward councillor would immediately indicate where the challenges are in the ward. In all ANC wards, you'll go into an ANC ward, speak to an ANC councillor, you would immediately have a ward profile on what are the challenges of the ANC that ward. Thank you.
Alcohol and drug abuse, where does that come from? It must originate somewhere. And I think the very first place to look at the problem is in our education system. that we can address there, and it must be addressed there, and it's on the books of the DA for the education system to definitely respond to this. Why do people misuse drugs and alcohol? Because they are giving up hope. Only when you give up hope, you will cause that damage to your own body. Why do they give up hope? Unemployment. Why is there big unemployment in our country and specifically in DR? It's because the government of the day doesn't give anybody the opportunity to come and invest in DR, to develop in DR, to employ the DR people.
Thank you, Kobus. So we will allow all the panelists to address some of the questions that were directed to you, but we have to go to a quick ad break. It's up to you to really decide. I mean, you hear the ANC saying that they are going to do this, but they've been in DR since 1994. So the question now becomes, are they the right political party to be addressing some of the issues that young people are facing in this particular area? Well, it's up to you to decide, like I said. We'll be back right after this. Stay with us. Welcome back. You are watching Expressions here on SABC1. We are your #1 current affairs show here at Zanzi in South Africa, and we're so proud to be part of this election debate that we are having here in the Northern Cape in a town called DR. Now, obviously, the political parties have been represented quite well, and we've also had some of the comments coming from young people, community here in DR, but we're going to continue this conversation and allow the Freedom Front Plus to basically answer some of the questions that were directed to you.
What we need in South Africa and in the R especially is a holistic approach to social upliftment. Not a make-peace approach here a little bit and there a little bit. One very important starting point is exactly our language. We have an English debate here as a result of the nature of the station, but it's clear from the response that an Afrikaans debate would suit the community very well. But our education system is in such a state that you can't study on a tertiary level in Afrikaans anymore. That limits our people. Then again, we have the...
So maybe, Wayne, let me ask you this, because it really comes across quite clearly that as... It comes across quite clearly that as political parties, you're able to quote the problems that the community here in DR are saying they're experiencing. But I think what is important, at least what the community wants to hear, is to say, what is the plan?
The R is, in fact, the solar capital of South Africa, but the solar energy is corporatized. It doesn't, it's not the property of the people, while every house and even a shack in the R could be the structure on which solar panels can be installed in order to benefit the inhabitants of that house and the rest of the country. Because if we have of one thing more than enough, then it is sunshine. And then I want to mention the activity of our own leader here, Ms. Lady Petersen, who has an early childhood center which she operated on her own cost and with some donations. And one of the unhappy consequences of government policy is that she was given a small grant which let donors think that she has money now, they don't need to donate anymore. What we need is root projects which are rooted in the community itself and grows from that side of up.
Okay.
Then we can have a real social upliftment and not only window dressing, making things look better.
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Wayne. I think just before we get to the good party, I just want to have an indication from the panelists. How many of you who are here seated with us actually live in DR? You live in DR? You live in DR. How many of you have young people who are represented within some of the issues that are being tabled on at least on tonight's show?
2 daughters.
you've got 2 daughters. But I'm talking about the youth representative. I mean, I don't know, Mko, maybe we will direct this to the community. I think this panel would have been much better if we had seen young people. Direct that to you. I would like to know from the community of DR how important it is for them to see young people who understand the challenges that they're going through to be the ones sitting here and speaking about how solutions can be addressed to your challenges.
Okay, Jackie, thank you very much for that. I have some community members, some young people right here on the floor. How are we addressing the issue of not having youth representative?
Since I stepped out of school, I never found a job. So when I stepped out of school, I came in trouble with the law because there was like nothing I can do. Because since 1994, when the ANC was in power, the ANC has done nothing to empower young people. Let's vote for a party who's gonna bring development in DR. So the only party that's gonna bring development in DR is the DA, because if you look at the Western Cape is profounded. We don't have time for incompetent people.
Right, can I give someone else a chance now?
One of the things that I can say that in Ndogba we're addressing as the African National Congress, in terms of the youth, if you can look at all the departments within, most of young people are represented in terms of employment in that sector of the department for creating employment. So these are one of the very important things when we look about the representation of young people. But also, because of the African National Congress is also taking young people seriously. Young people as assets of the community.
Parliament candidate list isn't representative of that.
No. They are represented. You see, in the African National Congress, when you speak about representation of the list, a generational mix in the ANC is interpreted in another different form. So young people are there.
Sentiments from the floor is that it's a generational mix. Back to you on the panel.
All of us know that since 2002 there was a study that's shown that 1 out of 10 people in DR do have children with fetal alcohol syndrome.
So, Oben, we know the statistics because the people in this community understand that. I think what they want to hear is, what is your plan? What is your plan? What are you going to do about it? So let's not quote statistics, because the people here in DR understand those statistics because they live it every day.
There are more than 100 Shabins in DR. We all of us know that DOP system. That problem starts with the DOP system, where people was remunerated part of their salary to buy alcohol.
Yes, Jackie, as ATM, what we are saying that we understand the issues that the people of DR are raising, because these issues has got a huge impact within society and so on. Because today you get a job, you drink, you end up without a job tomorrow. Those are the issues. But what we as ATM are saying, because what the other issue that, for these issues, there's an issue of moral decay as well. And hence there's a big word that is punted, moral regeneration and so on. And we are saying that social workers' hands are full. And what we are saying, we've got lots and lots and lots of churches that are opening their doors only on Sundays. And we are saying that why government doesn't invest put money in these churches and make so that they can open their doors during the week, so that they are moral regeneration centers where they can then counsel people and so on. Because some of these people administer marriages and so on.
The question that we're asking as expressions is, do you feel that the political parties that are represented in this panel are answering some of the questions that are pivotal to you? And when you cast your vote, will you know who to vote for? We'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Lupelo Mkhosana in the R. I'm here to find out what are the challenges that the youth in the R are facing.
Crime ininzi, drug abuse ininzi, alcohol abuse ininzi apha kuthi, pregnancy, young teenage pregnancy ininzi apha kuthi siswami.
Imtshintsho ndilibona utshintsho qha kakusondela uvoti kungona kusondela kuzoncokola nabantu ngoba kudala kuthenjiswa noba 8 years kuthenjiswa ngoku kodwa sikakaboni tshintsho tu.
Iza kubahlali thetha nabahlali babuze ba bahlali into ingxaki yenu basibambise ngezandla.
Mense kry nie werk, die mense lê in stukke huise en ons ANC doen niks aan dit nie. Hulle bly die mense bly van werk, waar moet die mense?
Mense die ANC ramme ko ons help ons kan nie net wil elke tyd net stem nie. Maar stem ons wat niks nog.
Right at the heart of DR, Sinbingelele Sinamgele futhi babukeli be expressions. Now, we are at this community hall where lapho sobe sikhulumisana khona with community members really bringing their daily struggles to the fore. Namhlanje kusihlwa. Sibonge kakhulu for your participation as well in enkundleni zethu zokuxhumana. Just please keep it going. So guys, now we're going to be getting some final comments, sir, and I'm going to give you from the ANC an opportunity to make your closing statement for us from the audience.
As of current, we are speaking of an erection of a drug and alcohol abuse treatment center erected in Kimberley. Now, these things we must point out. Secondly, I would like to come back to the two gentlemen of ETA and the VIA Plus. If you find our young people to be cows, sir, we will not eat a clean audit. Only your cows will eat a clean audit. We want a plan, a clear plan from you, the DA, because if you, as you've masked now, the NP, if you could segregate us for 345 years, what is your new interest now, today?
All right.
345 years.
Okay. All right. From the good party. And of course, I'm hoping that our panelists are, of course, jotting down notes to ensure that they're able to address these issues. Go ahead, sir.
The ANC has been governing us for 24 years and 4 months. With corruption. They've been governing us with empty promises. If they couldn't fix the social ills in Northern Cape for 24 years, how will they fix it in 5 years? Thank you.
My question is that ons sien daar's 'n probleem van tienerswangerskap. So die vraag is, as ITM, ons sal ITM maak om tienerswangerskap te vermy in die gemeenskap in. As ons kyk, die probleem is baie tieners raak swanger op skool en dit lei dat hulle moet uit skole uitgaan en dat lei dit van lekkasie van geleerdheid. So wat sal ITM maak om dit te vermy?
So what will the whole panel do to prevent that ill discipline from our children on school? And and what will you do to develop the youth in sports, our sportswomen, our sportsmen, to develop them, and gangsterism? What will we do, and drugs abuse against our youth?
Thank you very much. And of course, he's raising a very important issue there about the safety of our pupils, the safety of our teachers in schools, which, I mean, as expressions, we've covered this topic extensively, so perhaps some of the panelists can get it. Before we close the floor, Jackie, I'm also going to allow a forum just to get their thoughts across. Go ahead, sir.
Ek is baie jammer om te sien dat eintlik die breinmense die mense is wat eintlik die regering ondersteun, wat die breinmense nakom. Eerste ding het ons 'n probleem in De Aar. Ons water is nie na wense nie. Hy moet vir my sê van die ANC leiers wat betrokke was in die apartheid regering.
Okay.
Waar is hulle nou?
Thank you very much.
Hulle kom in die voorkant.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
On the drug and substance abuse issue, I believe that poverty and unemployment are the root cause of drug abuse. So, in as much as the community of De Aar, we appreciate the increased police visibility in our communities, but we also believe that calling in the military or increasing police visibility is only addressing the wound and not addressing the root cause of the problem, which is poverty and alleviation and unemployment. But now what we want to say thank you to the ANC for focusing on the root cause, because we can call in the military. We will temporarily...
All right. All right, ma'am. Can we please give her an opportunity as well now?
We can call in the military, but that would only address the problem temporarily. But unless we create jobs and invest more in poverty alleviation programs as the ANC. Only then will we win the fight against drug abuse.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I just wanted to add to the previous speaker.
Please go ahead, ma'am. We can hear you.
That added to the previous speaker who said there's a drug and alcohol abuse treatment center that opened in Kimberley. As the ANC government, 11 young boys will be joining that center for rehabilitation on 15 May. After the rehabilitation, they will be coming back to this community where they'll be reintegrated and ensuring that they can continue their lives clean of alcohol and drug abuse.
Okay. Those are some of the comments, Mbugeliwe expressions that came straight from the floor. Now, these are some issues, Lesis Patene now as a member of Umphakathi. These are some of the sentiments that have come through from the floor, and these are some of this is the struggles that some of these community members go through on a daily basis. Now, Mbugeliwe expressions, we continue with this all-important discussion on Masbuya. Our panelists will also be given an opportunity to respond, and thank you so much for your contribution. Siabwe.
Welcome back. You are watching Expressions here on SABC 1. Now, we are the #1 current affairs show. We are on location in the Northern Cape. We are having our election debate, and we're in a community called DR. Now, we're going to have to wrap this conversation up, and I'm going to give an opportunity to the political parties that are represented on stage to actually just address some of the issues, but I think most importantly, to have some of their closing comments. I think, let me start with the ANC. There are a lot of questions that were tabled against you. Can you just respond to some of those?
As the ANC, since 1994, and we will continue with this, through the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, to ensure that we roll out sports facilities to each and every school that we are having. Through the Department of Education, we are going to sharpen up on our life orientation in school so that we can cultivate positive values in our children at school. But what we are also going to do through the Department of Social Development is to ensure that we assign at least one social worker per school to deal with our learners at the level of the school. But what we also will do is to ensure that we target street children, is to ensure that we target street children and those child-headed households. We will also, through the municipalities, ensure that we do not provide licenses for the erection of taverns near to schools. What we will also do through churches is to ensure that we have moral regeneration up and running.
As a DA representative, I had to sign a pledge of non-racism. If you want to see what it looked like where the DA governs, go to the Western Cape. That's a lowering of unemployment, and we've got happy people and a clean province.
We are going to continue to regard the people of the Aar very high by creating broad-based empowerment, by harnessing the solar energy of our very sunny province, not for corporates and multinational companies, but for the people of the Northern Cape, to do beneficiation of raw materials and thereby grow the economy of this province and also of this specific town, in order to get a holistic community development going and not just the handout of money.
Crime is really out of control, people. And there are so many unsolved murder cases in our town. For example, who can forget the death of Magda Swanepoel, whose body was found on the Koppie near Sunrise 22 years ago. Pikkeveen, whose body was also found on the Koppie. Oma Anna Paulus of New Bright. Sana Jacobs, whose body was found behind between Hotel and De Aar. They were murdered behind the swimming pool. Sophie Paris was also murdered on the Koppie in the 1980s. Norman Nielsen on the Hanover Road.
Okay.
There was also Lady Margarita Peterson, who was raped and murdered in the railway yard. No arrests were made for these
party.
killings.
Okay.
As the ATM, the well-being of our youth is key to us. And we believe that we're going to decolonize the education system so that there's a sober discussion between a girl child as well as the parent. Because what we are seeing now, you can't even have a sober discussion with your child without your child even saying that I'm going to the police station. Because what we are saying that as the ATM, if it needs be, we'll change the legislation, because we believe that the traditional law that we're having should be in the very same status as the Roman Dutch law that we're having and so on. We are saying to you then, we are taking our youth very much seriously. Our president is 31 years old. Hence, we are saying that vote ATM.
Thank you, thank you. So that was Smith from the ATM. We've had the DA, the Freedom Fund Plus, the ANC, and the Good Party. And unfortunately, the EFF were not able to be a part of this discussion and this panelist. Gentlemen, thank you very much. It would have been great to see more young people and women represented in this panelist, right, Mko?
Yeah, it was indeed a good one with Jackie. And of course, we have to extend our gratefulness, of course, to having the community join us. Please give yourself a warm round of applause. Thank you very much, Dehar. And as expressions, of course, we have started the conversation, and Abantabasha are the ones who are going to be making some of the important decisions come May the 8th. And we're just happy to have been here, you know, to spark some sort of a debate.
Yeah, and they always say that the proof is in the pudding. So young people will be casting their vote on the 8th of May, and they will be determining who they believe can address some of the issues that are facing them. Well, as a young person, maybe they answered some of your questions, maybe they didn't. It's up to you to decide.